Okay, hi year 9, I've set you an investigation task based on these shapes. So, first one is to describe any patterns that you might find. So that's just looking at maybe the squares and the triangles and just seeing and saying what you're noticing. So maybe start that sentence with, I notice that it is increasing by a certain amount. The second step then asks you to see where there are 6 triangles, how many squares would there be? So that's a prediction based on what you've noticed in the first part. So predict. In part 3 then it asks you to draw a table to show the pattern. Okay. I would recommend that you draw in shape 4. So there's a question mark here at the moment. I would recommend that you draw in shape 4 and then draw this table. So to draw a table to show a pattern, you can do a number of things. I would recommend that you would maybe start with shape, number as one line on the table, maybe triangles. Let's use a variable here, let's call that t, so it's a variable, and squares, s for squares, so we have a variable. So we're going to form a simple table from that. So tables are always useful for recognizing patterns. So shape number 1, we can put in how many triangles there are and how many squares there are. You could also add an extra line if you wished. And imagine these were matchstick pieces. Matchstick pieces. M for matches. Alright. So how many matchstick pieces in this first shape? So there would be 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 8. Okay, so I would like if you could create this table, filling it out. So shape number 2 is this one, all the way up to shape number 4. So you'd have to copy that into your workbook. In part 2 then, it asks, where there are 25 triangles, how many squares are there, and how do you know? Alright, so this is once again noticing that pattern. So 25 triangles, what's the number of squares? So you're looking at the relationship between triangles and squares. So you can answer that just with a straight answer. And then, how did you know? It's back once again what you've noticed as a pattern. Question 5 then, where there are 8 triangles, how many shapes, squares and triangles are in total? So now we're looking at total number of shapes. So perhaps we could put an extra line on this table. Total shapes. So only these two are shapes. The matches aren't shapes. I'm going to come to the matches at the end. So in total, there's 3 shapes in that first one. So 2 squares and a triangle. Okay, and that is what the number of shapes are. In this second one, there are 1, 2, 6. Okay, so you should now add this line to your table, and that will help you with that question. So in 8 triangles, when there's 8 triangles, so you'll notice a pattern here of what, well, this is only going to be 4 triangles, so you need to figure out how you could draw a table and continue it, or you can just answer it using your logic skills. How many shapes would there be in 8? In question 6 then, when there are 40 triangles, how many shapes, squares and triangles together, would you have in total? So how many shapes, squares and triangles in total? 40 triangles. So going even further, you're not going to be able to draw, well, you could, but it'll take you all day. So how are you going to get how many shapes there are when there's 40 triangles? So when this number is 40 or this number is 40, what is the bottom number going to be? And can you see that relationship? Part 3 then asks you if you have a picture with T triangles, so that's T triangles, which we have, write a formula to express the number of squares. So what's a formula? So you've probably done this before. A formula is relating the number of squares to the number of triangles. So we need S equals something with T in it. So can you use some mathematical operations? Multiply, divide, add, subtract to T to get S. And the second one then is the total number of shapes. Can you write a formula this time with the total number of shapes? So this total number of shapes. I'm going to give this a new letter for you guys. I'm going to call this x. Why not? Favorite algebra pronumeral. Alright, so this second one, we want something x equals. And I'm not going to allow you to use the letter f. So it's going to have to be t times something. You perhaps have already found this in question 6. Question 8 then, test your formula for the pictures you already know. So test one of these formulas. So how do we test the formula? Well, we substitute in a number and then we get out its answer. So we substitute in an input. So for instance, if you want to substitute 3 in for t, do you get the right answer? And that is a test. Justify your formula. So justify is words that you might start using in year 12 and 13. So justifying something, and that is the I notice bit. So justify just one line that suggests, and I want you to justify this second formula, sorry I rubbed it out, the x one, justify, and that is I notice. So the formula to get the total shapes knowing the triangles. Question 10, can there be a picture of 119 squares in it? Okay, so that's about another I noticed here. In the pattern of the squares, will you ever get one with 119? Yes or no, and why? That's your justify. Can there be a picture with that many 1,923 shapes in it? Okay, same thing. Suggest yes or no, and then say why. And then if it's yes, what number is the picture? So this is picture number 1, 2, 3, or shape number 1, 2, 3, and say which one it is. And the same for question 12. Now, the final bit, and why I put it in the matchsticks, is not a question, it's a challenge question for the final bit. So matchstick patterns. So hopefully you can see matchstick patterns is the same. I just want someone to be able to tell me how many matches it would take to draw the 937th shape. So this is the 4th shape you would be drawing. How many matches in the 937th shape? So this is when you look at the matchstick pattern, and that is for the challenge question. Okay, so try and get as much of that done as you possibly can. Attempt all questions. Don't leave anything blank. Have a go at it. It's an investigation, so it's okay to get things wrong. That's fine. You'll learn more from getting things wrong. And then I will check your answers tomorrow. So have this ready to show me tomorrow. Okay, good luck with it.